Hi everyone, so slightly different video from me today. I am going to be doing a video on university and more specifically not going to university, and this isn't an anti-uni video at all. Like, I'm not in that mindset at all filming this. I just kind of want to talk you through my experience of not going to university, the reasons why I didn't go to university, because it's something I've never really spoken about. And I get a lot of emails about it, and I kind of wish my inbox wasn't in the constantly overflowing state that it is, so that I could actually respond to a lot of those emails, because I just would really love to help all of you, and I've kind of written a few blog posts about it, but obviously they get lost. I also thought I'd do this video because not going to university seems to be far more common now than it was when I didn't go. I know a lot more people now that are deciding not to go to university versus when I was at school and I was basically the only one kind of going, I don't really want to even apply. No. So yeah, if I can help some of you who are kind of on the fence, or you're worried about what the hell you're going to do with your life, then maybe I can help. I might be absolutely no help whatsoever, but you know. So I'm going to do a massive rewind to my last year of college, or even my first year of college, when all of your mentors sit you down and you have a sole lesson dedicated to applying for university. And I'd never really wanted to go. Like, in my mindset, it was never something that I wanted to do or thought was even really a possibility. Like, no one in my family has ever been to university, and we've all got along fine without it. Like, it's just one of those things where my family didn't expect me to go, so there was kind of no pressure there. And there were a lot of conversations with my mentors over what I was going to do with my life, and it was pretty lenient in comparison to other colleges. I know there were other people in different colleges in Brighton that were told that they were basically going to do nothing with their life if they didn't go to university, and that is wrong. And yeah, I ended up applying for a teaching course as primary education ages 3 to 7 because I quite liked the idea of working with kids at the time, and I like teaching, and I'd done some work experience in a school, and I just thought that that would be a good fit. If that was anything that I was going to go to university to do, I wanted to do that. I only really went for it when I was finishing college and I knew what my grades were going to be, and I decided to apply in my gap year. And sod's law, in your gap year, they raise the uni fees for the year after that. So the year that I'm applying is the last year that you pay £3 grand for your education per year, and then they triple it per year. So when I was applying for this course, there were 1,000 or 2,000 applicants in 100 places, and that was more than average, way more than average. Basically, the way they sort the applicants now is they take a certain percentage from college and a certain percentage from kind of school leavers, so people that aren't in education anymore. And obviously I was up against people that had up to 10 years experience working in a professional environment. They had far more experience than I did, and although my grades were A's, I got 2 A's and a C at A level, and although they were far more than I needed, I still couldn't get in, and I even had really relevant work experience, and I've worked for free and all of that. So that was really, really disheartening, especially when you know that you have the grades to go and all of that, and you know people. I know loads of other people that applied for that course and they didn't get the grades that I did, and they still got in just because they had done a 3rd year at college, or they'd started college a year later than me. On my gap year, I've been working in a children's centre, and I was the manager of said children's centre once I turned 18, and that was really, really stressful. So in addition to not getting into university, I was in a job that I really was not enjoying, and I had a little, I think it was about it sounds so little, but I think it was about a week of where I was just majorly depressed, and my dad was like, what are you going to do with your life? Seriously, what are you doing? And I was just like, I'll be fine. I think part of the reason that I bounced back so quickly was that because I knew that it wasn't going to be the end of the world. It's not like I wanted to be a lawyer, and the only way I could do that was to properly go to university and have an amazing qualification. I didn't need that for what I wanted to do, and at the time I didn't even know what I wanted to do. I bumped into teachers just strolling around Brighton, and they kind of asked me if I got in, and I told them no, and they were all really dead set on me applying again, they were like, you can't not go to university, you won't be able to get very far in life without a degree. And that was the point in which I was like, no, I can get along just fine without a degree, I'm going to be okay. Because in my eyes I just didn't need, whatever I ended up doing, I could learn it on a job. So I carried on working like in my managing the children's centre stuff, which looking back I'm like, and at the same time I was volunteering as a special needs assistant at a school, and it's one of the things that I really loved doing, and if I had the time I would still love to do it because it's just so rewarding. And even though I kind of was starting to fall out of love with working with children, it was still something that I loved doing, just because I loved seeing how valuable that one-on-one time with someone was. But after a while it kind of got to the point where I wasn't earning very much money because I was working 2 days a week for free and then 4 days a week paid, but paid really badly considering I was a manager. So it got to the point where I started applying for jobs like teaching assistant jobs and all of that, and I applied for a couple of jobs as a special needs assistant in nurseries, and at the same time another job came up with a massive health insurance company, and it was like a no experience needed kind of person that they needed to come and help with their graphics department within marketing. And I was kind of like, okay, that's cool. My mum works there, so she recommended me. She was like, I know someone that works really hard and has 0 experience. Do you want her? She can start tomorrow. And that's what happened. And at this one point I got offered 3 different jobs, and this marketing one was for only 3 months, and then the special needs ones were like quite well paid and permanent positions, and I don't know what I did. I don't know why I did it. It doesn't make sense at all. It was a complete change, but I kind of wanted that change, and I didn't know what I was going to do with my life, and I was starting to very quickly fall out of love with like working with children and in that environment. So I decided to try something new, and it was really well paid, so I just went for it, and I loved it. And I never thought I would, but I loved it. I actually loved it. I did a lot of different roles, and I moved teams a lot just because I was useful, I was really useful, and they didn't want to get rid of me, so each time I kind of had done my bit with one team, they'd move me into another. And I ended up doing 6 months part-time PA, part-time events coordination, part-time random marketing stuff. And that was what I did for the last like solid, I think it might have been more than 6 months. I ended up staying for a year, and I learnt so much. So it got to the stage where I'd done a year and I kind of felt like I needed to move on, because otherwise I was just going to end up hopping around this one company and ending up staying there and not really feeling like I had any job security, because I was just like on a rolling contract. I applied for an events coordination job, and it was kind of really low level, but I just went and applied for it anyway because I was like, it's more experience and this is a job that I will have gotten on my own. It's not by any recommendation, I don't know anyone there, so let's just go for this and see what happens. And I ended up working there for 2 months. Like it wasn't the right environment for me, I didn't really love it, and I was going to stick it out for a year anyway because I kind of felt like I should do at least one job for a year and do a minimum, so it didn't look like I was hopping around, because obviously I'm fresh out of school, haven't been to university, and I didn't think that job hopping looked too fabulous. And then at the same time I had been for an interview with another company, I think that was 6 months before that, and I hadn't really been in contact with them too much, but like a couple of months after I started my new job they contacted me and they were like, we've got a position that's opened up, do you want to come and work for us? And they were like my dream company, and I am still there. And I am completely aware that lots of this was just literally quite lucky. I was very fortuitous in the fact that I knew people that worked in actually every job that I've applied for. I've known someone that has worked there. I'm lucky that Brighton is a very small place and you always end up knowing people and they recommend you, which is lovely. But at the same time, that first job that I got was only like 3 months maximum, and I just worked really hard. I'd do like 12-hour days because that was what the job required, and well, it wasn't even what was required, it just stuff needed to get done and I would get it done, and they kept me on for a year, and they would have kept me on for even longer had I not got up and left. But I just felt like that was the right move, and it definitely was, because the experience I gained there and then the experience I gained in the second job that I had as an events coordinator, they kind of mushed together. So it just all was very, very lucky. But like I said, I took this job I took my second job as an events coordinator, and that was a permanent job. I had a permanent job and I was really happy with that. And then when the company that I work for now rang me up, they wanted someone for 3 months again. I was like, okay, I'm just going to take a risk because this is a company that I really, really want to work for. And at the end of the day, this experience is more valuable than, you know, staying in a job that I don't like for a year and then trying to get another job. I've never really not taken opportunities that have been thrown at me. So although a lot of the things that happened to me were quite fortuitous, at the same time it's a mixture of taking on opportunities as they're basically thrown at you and serious hard work that get you to where you want to be. And when I was offered my third job, and even my second job and my first job, none of them cared that I didn't have a degree. It was more my experience and my working attitude that came across in the interview that they liked. If you work hard and you have the right attitude towards working, then you're going to be okay without a degree. So that was 2 years ago that I got offered the job that I'm in now. I'm still there. I've been promoted just very recently, and I love my job. I love the company. I'm very lucky to work with people who are also some of my best friends. It's just, I'm very aware I'm very lucky, but at the same time I work bloody hard. Like, a lot of the time a blog post doesn't come up because I'll have been in the office for like 12 hours. Working full time is difficult, but it's something you're going to have to do whether you go to university or not anyway. So part of me is just kind of like, I got a head start. There are people that I work with, like I work with some of my friends now who have just finished uni and come back to Brighton, and they are doing what I was doing 2 years ago, and it's such a weird thing. But ooh, the dog's barking. Dog barking. Ooh, she never barks. She sounds like a frog. Yeah, I just wanted to tell you my story. If you have any questions, you can pop them in the box below. Before I go, I thought I'd just kind of run through a few things that I thought might help you if you're not going to university and you don't know what to do. When you're choosing not to go, there are so many different options for you. You can work for free for a bit to get the experience that you want. You can do internships, which are kind of like your expenses are normally paid. You can do apprenticeships where you are paid for the job and you work full time, but you're paid a lot less than I would be, or anyone at a junior level would be, because you're on an apprenticeship and you're doing qualification at the same time. I know someone who's done that, and I know lots of people actually have recently done that with one of our local colleges, and they've just finished and they've been given the jobs at the places that they did their apprenticeship at, and they love it. So that's definitely something to consider. I think my brother's actually considering doing that. And then obviously you can do full-time work, which is effectively I did part-time work and working for free at the same time to make it look like I had a really good work ethic, because lots of employers like to see that you'll work for free, but at the same time working part-time and working for free balances out quite nicely, because it's not like you don't need to work. You're showing that you need to work and that you like to be paid for what you're doing, but that you also, to do what you want to do, you're willing to work for free or give up your time, which I think is quite valuable. And I know lots of employers kind of take the mick out of that at the moment, but as long as you're sensible with it and you don't do it for too long, I don't think there's anything wrong with it. Another thing that I think is really useful, and it might sound so obvious, but I get so many covering letters sent to just our team email every day, and it is just blanket covering letters and CVs, and it looks so bad when you can tell that someone has like just BCC'd in a load of people and that their covering letter isn't personalised to your job vacancy, or even if you didn't have a job, which we often don't have job vacancies and we get these anyway, and it's just like so impersonal to the company. And I have always made a covering letter specifically tailored to the company that I want to work for. So I will link up a link to the website that helps me do my covering letters below, so that you can have a look at that. And also tailor your CV. I have a CV for events work, for admin work, PR and marketing. I have a CV for every occasion ready to go so that I don't have to retailer one every time, and I go through and I update those all the time, even though I have a job. I just like to keep them updated, and I think that's really useful. One thing that I think is really useful as well is to always keep yourself positive. When I first started applying for jobs after I finished college and I was doing the job that I really didn't like, I got so many no emails like really, really sorry, you just didn't meet the criteria, blah blah blah, even though I did. There's just a lot of applicants out there and you shouldn't take it too personally. It's not a personal thing against you, and if you let it get you down, then that's going to affect your attitude when you're applying for CVs, when you're writing a covering letter, if you're being interviewed. Employers want to see someone who's going to bounce back. Employers want to see someone who is really motivated and engaging and really, really positive and passionate about what they want to do. So don't let rejection emails get you down, because at the end of the day that's not going to do any good at all. I think that's about it. Just obviously, I spoke to a few of you on Twitter the other day, and lots of you were saying how hard you find it to get a job straight out of school, and you do just have to be absolutely relentless. Like, there's nothing else you can do. You can't give up, because that's not going to do you any good either. And actually kind of having that relentlessness and bouncing back all the time is really, really inspiring, and employers love to see, like, especially when you are straight out of school. That's an amazing quality and characteristic to have, because there are so many people that do give up, and if you carry on, you're gonna be at least one step ahead. Okay, so my battery just majorly died, and I have no idea where I was, and it's like 20 minutes later and I've lost my train of thought completely. But I think I was talking about not knowing what you want to do with your life, and lots of people are going to ask you, and you're going to feel really uncomfortable because no one really knows. Most people I know have gone to uni and come out of uni and gone, oh, I don't actually want to do what I studied and I don't know what I want to do. Some people do. Some people know what they want to do, some people don't, and if you don't, that is fine. Some people don't understand that not everyone knows what they want to do when they're like in their teenage years or in their early 20s. I still don't know what I want to do, and I'm fine with that. I just do something I enjoy every day, and as long as I'm doing something I enjoy, then I'm fine. It doesn't have to be a set career, and I don't have to stay in that for the rest of my life, but as long as I'm happy going to work every day, I'm fine. It's when I start becoming unhappy that I know something needs to change, and yeah. And I think the most important thing is to do a bit of everything. Even if it's jobs you don't like, at least you know you don't like them. You don't have to do them forever, but try everything, and if there's something you don't like, make a mental note of that, because then you know that you're never going to do that again. I hope that this has helped you in some kind of way. Let's keep the comments nice about what I may or may not have decided to do with my life. Yeah, so I hope this has helped some of you. Give it a thumbs up if you liked it. Let me know if you have any questions in the comments, and I'll do my best to answer as many of you as I can. And yeah, I hope you are all having a lovely day, whatever you're doing, and I will speak to you guys later. Bye! Yeah, so when you worry about what you're going to do with the rest of your life, just look at puppies. That was professional advice, wasn't it? Yeah.